Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Franco here, and I'm back with another Clash of Clans video today. And today's a pretty big milestone for a free-to-play player like myself. And if we take a look over at my progress base, I actually have a builder open right now. Um, and I kind of had this finish a couple days ago, but I was a little busy and I forgot to make a video. And then, with this builder open, I was like, what can I upgrade? And I was like, oh. What about like I was like I have so much elixir and I was like, oh, I feel so guilty sinking it all into walls like for no reason. And realistically, the only thing I can use with elixir is just upgrade troops in the lab. And then once that 11-day timer runs out, I try to have it full just in case I wouldn't use elixir. Even though this time I used dark elixir again, and my dark elixir storage is always full. It just happened to not be full because of that spell. Um, but besides that, I was like, well, what can upgrade? And I was like clicking on all these buildings, and I was like, oh, the pet house. And I was like, oh, I can't upgrade it. And then I was like, wait, I forgot. I maxed out the pet house. So this is kind of a big milestone for me as free to play. And let's upgrade a couple walls here. Why not? Let's just get these done, and then not keep a builder idle. I usually don't like to record a builder, like how I'm going to use a builder, because it kind of takes my brain off it, and I really like to think through what's the best upgrade time-wise to do. But I do have a builder open in 1 day, so it's not really the end of the world. Let's just upgrade one of these. No, black air mines to level 6. I don't really care. But I guess we'll keep the progress pace up for a little bit. But what I was saying is I finally finished out this pet house, and honestly, it's not too difficult to do. I don't think I've ever used a book or a hammer on any pet ever. So I know you can use books of heroes, books of uh, and hammers of heroes on pets. And honestly, I don't see why anybody would ever do that. And I kind of figured I'd outline how I kind of got to this, like how the fastest way basically to max out pets. So ultimately, you have to break it up into a couple different, different. I don't know the right word. Maybe a couple different, man, I'm really blanking on the word, but like sections, kind of. So the first section is, or the first like chapter kind of is when you're Town Hall 14. So usually ultimately it doesn't really matter what pets you upgrade. It kind of matters that you constantly have a pet upgrading, because if the goal, like that's the whole thing about this game is like you can upgrade whatever you want whenever you want, and it can be the dumbest order, all this stuff. And if you're just fighting to get maxed out level, ultimately, like the prioritization doesn't really matter. So if you're just seeing how you can max out pets the fastest, is just always have one upgrade. As simple as that. And in a year or two, you'll probably have them all done. And I'm hoping they release another pet soon, just so I can have another sink for Dark Elixir. But if you're wondering what the best way to upgrade pets is, so what the most crucial, most important pets are for almost every strategy, that's what I'm going to outline right now. So, when you get to Town Hall 14, you can get 4 of the pets. So you have the Lassie, and then the next one you get is the Yak, and then you get, or no, you get the Owl, then the Yak, then the Unicorn. And you got to think of it like this. So the first pet you have to upgrade is the very first one you unlock. And people are always like, don't ever upgrade the Lassie, it's a waste of Dark Elixir. I'm like, yeah, but you got to waste Dark Elixir eventually. So the logic is you want to upgrade that Lassie until you unlock the Yak. So upgrade the pet house as well. Once you unlock the Yak, you kind of want to either upgrade the Lassie some more or the Yak. That doesn't really matter. Or sorry, the Owl. Once you get the Owl, what you want to do is okay, so that actually mixes it up. I forgot the Owl's next. So what you want to do is once you unlock the Owl, you basically want to just keep upgrading him till max level. So it used to be that the only pet that mattered at Town Hall 14 that you should max out was the Unicorn, but I think it changed a little bit because I'm still using the Owl, because we have a new air hero now. So realistically, out of all the Town Hall 14 pets that you get, I think the only ones that you really need to max out are the Owl and the Unicorn. Everything else, the Lassie and the Yak, aren't too important. So realistically, you just keep upgrading the Lassie until you unlock the Owl. Keep upgrading the Owl until you unlock the Unicorn. And once you unlock the Unicorn, I think realistically it's fair to max out the Unicorn first, because with the Archer Queen, I think the Unicorn is one of the best pets to always have. Um, And I think it's just one of the pets that's lasted the most amount of time throughout this entire game. So if you want to be safe, I think what you do is as soon as you unlock through the unicorn, you upgrade the unicorn to max level, then either you go to Town Hall 15, and once you go to Town Hall 15, you kind of replace a lot of the pets. So at Town Hall 15, you unlock what's the next one? I think you unlock the Diggy next, and then oh no, there's a lot actually. So you unlock the let me close out of this replay really quick. I need to look at the lab. Um, so you unlock the Frosty, then the Diggy, then the Poison Lizard, Phoenix. So you unlock those four. So realistically, you upgrade the pet house. If you have a max unicorn, then start upgrading the electric owl. Or if you unlock the Frosty next, I actually think Frosty is one of the best pets in the game. The constant frost effect that you get matches really well with the King because the King's a pretty good tank, and this guy will constantly send out those flurries. And honestly, I just think he's one of the most underrated pets. So, assuming you have the Unicorn Max before going to Town Hall 15, I think what you want to do is you want to upgrade the Frosty a couple levels. Then, once you unlock the Diggy, you kind of want to max out the Diggy. So, either you want to max out the Diggy or max out the Frosty first. Either one doesn't matter, and I would argue they're both of pretty crucial importance because the Diggy can be paired well with the Warden or the Royal Champion, depending on the strategy. And then you're going to unlock the Poison Lizard and never upgrade him to the end, just like the Lassie and the Yak. And then you're going to unlock the Phoenix. And I also don't think the Phoenix is that good. I think he's kind of overrated. Obviously, I use him now with the Royal Champion strategy, but I think he can kind of wait. I think you don't necessarily need him a high level because it's only going to add 2 more seconds because he lasts for 6 seconds at level 1 and 8 for level 10. And the Phoenix himself doesn't really do anything. So I don't really think you need to have this guy upgraded, and you can even use him at level 1. So I think waiting on the Phoenix. So what you want to max out is the Unicorn, then Diggy Frosty, both at the same time, and then I think it's kind of up to you. So realistically, if you max out those three pets, you're pretty far along in the game at that point, and you kind of know what strategy, air or ground, you're going to be running. And it's up to you if you want to upgrade the Spirit Fox, the Phoenix, or the Electric Owl. And I can just outline what I did. I maxed out the Unicorn, then I maxed out the Electric Owl, then I maxed out the Frosty Diggy, or no, I maxed out Unicorn, Frosty Diggy, Electric Owl, and then I think I maxed out the. I don't even remember because the Spirit Fox is kind of a new pet. I might have maxed out the Yak, then the Spirit Fox, and then the last of them didn't really matter. I maxed out the Phoenix, then like Angry Jelly and the Lassie. I went Lassie Poison Lizard for the end. But besides the point there, there is a little bit of an algorithm in which you should apply to upgrading these pets. But ultimately, Clash of Clans is a game where you can kind of do. Wait, did I just show that 100% replay again? Oops, sorry. You can kind of like upgrade things depending on how you choose to play the game. So, depending on what your strategy is, really depends on how you should upgrade the pet. So this isn't really the best guide for the best attack strategies and how to prioritize those pet upgrades, but basically the best universal pets. And honestly, you could be thinking like, oh, he's just saying this with the dragon spam approach. And I actually don't think dragon spam is a bad thing for someone who doesn't really know that much about the game. So if you're just thinking Dragon Spam, I think this strategy I kind of outlined is pretty safe. Unicorn, Frosty, Diggy are very strong options to max out, and then the Electric Owl is just an air, um, like supplementary your air unit that you can always max out. Once you have those four, honestly, the rest of them don't really matter. So you can take that advice with a grain of salt if you want, but hey, I maxed it out as free to play, and it only took a couple years, but I'm glad I did because it's kind of cool now that I have the flexibility to basically try out any attack strategy I want. And that's kind of like the goal of maxing out, is that you then have the ability to like try whatever strategy you want. And it's called always like a I don't know. It's always like a dream that you can never really attain because realistically, once you max out, you're probably going to be tired of the game, and then you're not really going to want to try out different new strategies. And like, I guess technically I could use different strategies, but I don't have all those troops maxed out. So I really can't try out new strategies just because of the troop limitation. So I am kind of stuck at like dragon spam and like air type attacks, which honestly there aren't too many options in the current meta. But that's kind of the sad reality of not being completely fully maxed. But maybe one day I'll get there. And this is just one step that I needed to take and get these pets maxed out. And honestly, I know the thing about the pets isn't the timing, and I kind of explained like how to upgrade time-wise for the pets, but realistically, like it's just the dark elixir. So dark elixir, in my opinion, is one of the hardest resources, or it's the hardest resource other than like ores and stuff to get in the game. And that's kind of the limiting factor. It's not really the time. And if you want some advice on how to get a lot of dark elixir, is just play the game a lot. It's as simple as that. And I ended this attack here because I just don't really care about getting stars. It's actually easier. So going on the loot like tangent, it's actually easier staying in lower legends. So I try to not get too many on offense, just so I can always get the full resources. So I get all 730, all 709. I try to get the max amount that I can get from each attack. So if I gain too much and get too many 3 stars, I honestly start to like not get all the storages or the town hall and stuff. But that's the main thing. There's many different theories for how to get the most loot. You can either stay in Legends League, which I think is the best way because you don't take any loot sacrifice on defense. And are you really going to do more than 8 attacks a day? And it kind of like makes you not get burnt out because you only do 8 a day, and it really emphasizes your skill in the game because then you got to be doing your strategy that you're going to use in war. So your game skills physically going to get better too, while also I think getting almost the optimal amount of loot. Obviously, some people think sneaky goblins is the move, and I honestly always have thought that's a mistake, and I don't really understand it because okay, how many like walls are you gonna up? Like walls don't really matter too much. Like I'm just being real here, and also like there's time between builders when you don't have a builder open. So unless you're keeping a builder open at all times just to upgrade walls, that's the only way I think Sneaky Goblins is worth it. Because realistically, I get full storages almost every day in Legends, so it's not really even that big, or close to full storages, so it's not really even that big of a deal. But if you're keeping a builder open at all times, you're really not trying to max out. You're just trying to max out your walls, which I don't. The bottleneck isn't walls. The bottleneck is time. But obviously, like I was saying with the pets, maybe the bottleneck is loot. And if it is the loot bottleneck for Dark Elixir, maybe that is the move. Drop down the champions, drop down the masters, and just farm up some Dark Elixir. But realistically, um, it's not that big of a time crunch because near the end of the game where I'm at now, I don't even have anything to spend Dark Elixir on. Like I know I have heroes, but I can only do a hero upgrade once every 8 days, and you don't really need too much Dark Elixir. And even if you're running low, so a good example is this is my second account, so Franco Mac. I'll show it in a couple minutes here, but it always is low on Dark Elixir, and that's like its main resource cap, or yeah, it's like main resource bottleneck, and the whole thing is like I'm like, oh, I need to farm more on it. And then I'm like, you know what? It doesn't really matter. If I'm not upgrading a pet all the time, I was like, what do I need the Phoenix for? Like, I was like, I don't use the Phoenix on this account. It's like, it's just for me to fight to max. And I was like, realistically, I'm going to be maxed out in the pets way before the buildings anyway. So I was like, it doesn't really matter too much if I don't have something running at all times in the pet house, which I know kind of like throws off the completionist or like the um, what's the word? The not completionist. I can't think of it, but someone who like tries to have everything always in order. Um, it might throw that off not running like the lab or the pet house, but realistically, you got to kind of like think what is the bottleneck of the game. And I don't think the bottleneck of the game really is the pet house. So, I mean, it's a cool thing to have done as free to play, but yeah, so if we take a look here, like I have the Phoenix going, but I'm like, I don't really use it. And I'm never really going to use a different pet than what I have right now. Obviously, I do need to change up the poison lizard on the on the minion prince, but I don't really use the minion prince, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, like there's a bunch of pet upgrades, and the main thing is Dark Elixir that's limiting me. But honestly, it's just kind of how you play the game. And at the end of the day, I think the only thing that really matters for maxing out pets as free to play is never wasting your Clan War League medals on the Hammer of Heroes and using it on the pets, or getting the Book of Heroes and using it on the pets. That is one of the worst things you can do as free to play. That will just kill your progress because ultimately the biggest progress bottleneck is these buildings. And I just always have builders on these buildings, and it still looks like I have a long way out till max. And I always buy hammers building. I always have them refreshing. So realistically, that's just the best way to spend your Clan War League medals. I hope this video was a little bit useful. Let me know in the comments if you disagree with my logic with the pets. I'm sure there's some things that I kind of missed about like how you should upgrade them, but ultimately, it's just the game. The more you upgrade, the higher they're going to get in level. It's just how it works. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.